The 2012 Star Mazda Championship can be summed up in 2 words: Jack Hawksworth. The confident, sometimes cocky kid from the UK ended up dominating the season. Now with scholarship cash in hand, he's looking forward to taking the next step on the Mazda road to Indy. He stepped aside for the final round this year at Road Atlanta, leaving the door wide open for a bunch of hungry drivers who need to grab a moment in the spotlight. It's the season finale, the Star Mazda Championship at Road Atlanta, and it's coming your way next on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Welcome to Road Atlanta. We're at Brazelton, Georgia on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Today it's coverage of the Star Mazda Championship. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. IndyCar star James Hinchcliffe will join me for the call in a moment. Todd Lewis with our coverage today down on pit road. The championship has already been decided. In fact, our 2012 champion is preparing for 2013 and his next opportunity on the Mazda road to Indy. For the young drivers in the field today, it's all about getting ready for the next year. And for some, it's about scoring maybe their first win of the season. Let's find out some of their stories. Let's get downstairs to Todd.
Our pole sitter, Gabby Chavez, just told me this is the best car he's had all season so far. Wants it to be that way at the end of the race. Each of these Star Mazda Championship drivers wants to leave a good impression if this is their last race in the series. Sage Karam, he's had an up and down year. Some wins, some crashes, some hard luck. He'd like to end the year with another victory. His Andretti Motorsports teammate, Zach Veach, is right behind him. He, too, has had an up and down year. Only 2 podiums so far. He was hoping for better results. One more chance here today at Road Atlanta.
Well, some of the Juncos team members also hoping for some retribution or some good results here at Road Atlanta as we take a look at what their week has been like. James Hinchcliffe or Connor DeFilippi, not the weekend he wanted at all.
In racing, sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug, and it hasn't gone well for these guys. Connor had a crash in qualifying, relegating him to 9th, but on the promoter test day earlier this week, his teammate Martin Scunzio, heading into turn 1, here you'll watch, gets onto that curb, car gets a little loose, and just along for the ride. Wait for this impact. Very big.
And sometimes getting up on the rumble strip can cause something like that.
It certainly can. In such a high-speed corner like that, the car's very sensitive to things like curbs and bumps.
And steering wheels can sometimes cause injury, as Martin Scunzio found out. Todd caught up with him early.
I went too deep on turn 1, turned too early, hit the curb on the inside, and went straight to the wall. It's a shame for the guys. They worked the whole year to get to this final race, and I feel really, really sorry for them, and just, I don't know, it's a shame.
A shame, yes, that we don't see you participating, but happy that you're here to talk with us. Talk about how protected you were in the car and how safe these Star Mazda machines really are.
I think the Star Mazda machine is really, really safety. Nothing happened to me. You can see I'm here. It just hit my hand, and it's a shame because I wanted to drive this weekend, but I think my ligaments in the hand are really, really bad. So the medics say, please don't drive now. And I gotta keep the order, you know, so it's a shame. I know I'm very good. I hit the barriers really, really bad, but the safe was amazing.
So Martin Scunzio disappointed to not be able to run this week.
Damaged car, damaged hand, but I guarantee you the most pain comes from having to sit out a race. It's a frustration that all drivers will have to deal with at some point in their career.
How about this guy, our champion, Jack Hawksworth, having to sit this one out as well, but he'll drive the pace car today.
Leading the field, that's what we're used to seeing Jack. Unfortunately, it's normally in a race car, and it's got to suck being the champion and not being able to just go out with a swan song event like this, especially here at Road Atlanta. Taking a look at this track, super fast, super flowing, great passing opportunities down into turn 10, sometimes if you're brave into turn 1 and even turn 6, but a very, very much a rhythm racetrack.
A lot of elevation changes, too, part of the story at Road Atlanta, and a surface that's been down here for quite a while. Not a lot of grip here.
No, it slips and slides, and these tires are going to have a little bit of a workout, and like you say, the elevation, some blind corners, very challenging for the drivers.
Take a look at our starting lineup for today's event. Final race of the 2012 Star Mazda Championship season. We've seen Gabby Chavez, heard from him. He will start on pole today in car number 19 alongside Sage Karam. Zach Veach, Petri Suvanto, one of the Pelfrey cars in row 2.
Very good result for him as we move on to the third row of the grid with Diego Ferreira and Juan Pedrahita doing a good job.
Pedrahita in the 9 car. He's been very strong all year. Bruno Pali, also a guy we've seen speed out of this year.
A lot of speed, maybe not the consistency he wanted, but he's got another chance to lay down a good result this weekend.
Menezes will start in 8th. Connor DeFilippi, it's been a disappointing year for him.
Started off so strong, that entire team did, and it's really been, unfortunately, a downhill struggle for them. And again, hopefully, a little bit of momentum going into the offseason. A strong result here will take care of that.
Youngster Scott Anderson in row 6th, and Ryan Taviter will drive the championship car.
Not a bad position for him to be in, a great opportunity for Ryan to show what he can really do.
Mendez and Ashley Freiberg, the 7th row. Camilo Schmidt and Juan Acosta in the 8th row. Acosta, a young driver, making his first start in Star Mazda. Walt Bolin will line up in 17th and last, our Masters competitor here today, as the drivers scrub tires, heat things up, get ready to go racing here at Road Atlanta.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for Gabby Chavez. We've seen him at the start of the year as 6th, 7th, 8th place driver. Middle of the year, 4th, 5th place driver. Sort of 3/4 of the way into the year, he was on the podium regularly, and in the last round out, we saw him take that debut win. Now he's on pole. This kid is really on a charge.
One of the young drivers who's thinking about either staying in Star or possibly moving up to Indy Lights next year. He tested at the Mazda Road to Indy Day at Indianapolis Motor Speedway a couple of weeks earlier. We'll hear more about that as the day goes on. Our Mazda keys to the race as we get set for the green flag here at Road Atlanta on a sun-splashed afternoon. It is Petit Le Mans week, James.
And here we go. Number 1, downforce. It's a very fast track. If you want to be quick, you need the downforce, but if you're qualifying further back, you need to trim out to get that straight line speed and make the passes into turn 10. Rhythm. We saw the flowing nature of this racetrack. To be quick, you've got to be consistent, get into that rhythm, and just hit your marks. No mistakes can be allowed here. And ultimately, championship. The championship title is decided, but 2nd through 5th still up for grab. A lot of points and a lot of prize money still on the line.
And for these drivers who are thinking about 2013, finishing position, money, it can get you a new opportunity for the coming season.
Big difference between finishing 4th in the championship and 2nd in the championship in terms of a driver who wants to maybe move up.
17 drivers ready to answer the call. Lights going out at Road Atlanta, getting set for our standing start. Final round of the 2012 Star Mazda Championship. Green lights upcoming. And here we go. We're underway at Road Atlanta.
Pole sitter Gabby Chavez on the driver's left. That's the clean side of the racetrack, though it's not the inside of turn 1. He gets a good jump. Sage Karam slots in, and it looks like Petri Suvanto takes 3rd away from Zach Veach.
Suvanto, of course, won the 2011 USF 2000 championship. He's been very, very strong much of the season here in Star Mazda.
And certainly in this latter half, he's really sort of turning it up, getting a feel for these cars. It's a big step up from the Formula 2000 cars, as some of the other kids at the Road to Indy test learned. But so far, everyone clean through turn 1 as they snake down the S's here. God, I love this racetrack.
Gabby Chavez, he's got his hands full, though. Sage Karam trying to make a statement here today, right up on his wing, and Karam looking for the lead.
If there's a guy who knows how to make a statement, it's Sage Karam. He is easily the best overtaker this season in Star Mazda, and Gabby Chavez knows he's got his hands full right now.
Petri Suvanto strong in 3rd, and then you've got Zach Veach in 4th as we watch this field start to thin out a little bit up the backstretch.
Veach looking for a little retaliation. Not happy he lost that podium spot potentially right off the bat. He's got the drag, and he'll have the inside line. This should be a fairly straightforward outbraking maneuver for Zach.
Now, earlier in the weekend, we saw the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup machines use the draft heavily here on the backstretch.
Yeah, it's a very long backstretch. Oh, a little sideways from Sage Karam, a little lock up from Petri Suvanto, all sorts of action. Bruno Pali making moves on the outside now of Zach Veach heading down the hill.
3-car battle for 2nd spot. Pali very strong. 2 of the Pelfrey teammates are side by side for position.
And the other Juncos Team Venezuela car, Team Viso car going through there as well. As you see Connor DeFilippi trying to make some moves. A lot of action here on the opening lap.
All of this, of course, allowing Gabby Chavez to scoot off to a big lead on lap number 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty big mistake from Sage there, just getting in a little deep, got the rear locked, and he went straight from offense to defense very quickly.
One of your keys to the race, James Hinchcliffe, the rhythm part of this racetrack. We're in it right now coming through the S's, but part of that rhythm method down the backstretch into the last couple of corners, that's very important too.
Hey, absolutely. It's rhythm all over the racetrack. It's getting into a state where you're hitting your marks, you're hitting your break points, you're hitting your turning points, and if you do that, it can be a difficult track to pass on. So if you run a mistake-free line, it's going to be very difficult for guys to get around you.
Onto the backstretch for lap number 2. We're on board the Replay XD onboard cameras. Connor DeFilippi, he's won here at Road Atlanta before. He's got to get to the front of this field quickly.
He's got a lot of work to do, but again, we've seen him do some drives from the back. We've seen him start up front and finish up front, so we know he's capable of it. as we see some defensive driving now heading down into the chicane.
Well, you can only do so much with the mirrors. In fact, certainly race officials would not be very favorably inclined toward you as we watch the 57 make a move and pick up a position here at the end of the backstretch. That's Diego Ferreira's machine.
And that was a great move because Menezes had sort of defended. He started to driver's right and then swooped down to the inside, and that got Menezes off his rhythm, off his line, which has now allowed Connor DeFilippi to make a move.
DeFilippi on the inside of turn 12 picks up a position, trying to go to the inside in turn 1.
We've seen what turn 1 can do when things go wrong, so probably better that discretion got the better part of valor on that one.
With the long straightaways at Road Atlanta, this may be about the highest speed. Oh, and one car off. That's the 82 of Ryan Taviter. He's driving Jack Hawksworth's championship-winning car for Team Pelfrey. Makes a mistake on the exit of the corner.
Disappointing for him as we see a replay here. Lost in the middle of turn 1, not dissimilar to what happened to Martin Scuncio in the test earlier this week. Luckily, he didn't make it to the wall, but still a great opportunity as we ride on board now. As we just see goes in, just loses the back end. It's a very quick corner, very easy to do.
You could see his hands, and it looked as though there was a little wiggle maybe going into the corner that he wasn't ready for.
Sometimes what happens in turn 1 at Road Atlanta, car bottoms out under that compression, the high-speed corner, and when the car bottoms, wheels go up, and off you go.
Can ruin your day. More to come from Road Atlanta. Welcome back at Road Atlanta Petit Le Mans weekend, the Star Mazda Championship season finale. Alongside James Hinchcliffe, I'm Rick Benjamin. Todd Lewis with our coverage on pit road. Gabi Chavez starting on pole today. It's been a good day for him so far, but Sage Karam refusing to give up the fight.
Refusing to give up is pretty much what defines Sage Karam as we ride on board with him now into turn 10. And this is more than just a battle for the race win. This is a battle in points. You know, Sage Karam held second for a good chunk of the season. Gabi Chavez with his victory at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca took it over. And so there's a little bit of pride on the line here as well for second in the championship.
Karam, another young driver who's certainly looking ahead to Indy Lights, possibly next season. Gabi Chavez in that same mode. Zach Veach took a ride in an Indy Lights car at the Speedway a couple of weeks ago. Bruno Pali in fourth position, though. I'm seeing a lot from him here this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing a very good job. And as you say, the top three running right now are all very possibly moving up to Indy Lights next year. And that's exactly what you want to see. These drivers cutting their teeth here in the Star Mazda Series and progressing through that Mazda road to Indy up to the next step of the ladder. So this is great. It's great to see these young drivers getting an opportunity to test and hopefully next year that opportunity to race.
Jack Hawksworth, who was such a dominant force this year, has won the Mazda Road to Indy scholarship money. He will be moving up to Indy Lights next season, electing not to run here this weekend, saying, you know, I don't want to use my resources to run a race that really doesn't count for much in his particular case. So that opens up the opportunity for Ryan Taviter to step into that car. Hawksworth wins the title 67 ahead of Chavez coming into the weekend.
Yeah, no, he'd say it was a dominating season. He did a great job, and this battle, second, third, and fourth, still very much alive.
Chavez, DeFilippi, and Sage Karam, all contenders. Suvanto Scuncio's opportunity takes a hit with his wreck here in the test day.
Yeah, he'll fall down a couple spots for sure with Pedro and Ferreira running in, running well, Menezes as well. So an unfortunate way for a driver anytime you miss a race, but especially the last race of the season.
Zach Veach in 10th in points for Andretti Autosport. Here's Martin Scuncio on pit road on the headset, helping his teammates, even though he couldn't compete today.
And that's a great sportsmanship act right there. You see, it says coach right there on the headset, which I think is fitting, because I bet he's there. He was probably watching during some of the sessions over the weekend, helping his team out, and it's good to see a driver, the most painful place to sit during a race is in pit lane, so it's a really good move from him.
Meantime, two young drivers really feeling things here today at Road Atlanta. Gabi Chavez, the leader. Right behind him, Sage Karam. This is a great battle for the top spot.
I mean, that's pressure if I've ever seen it. And Gabi Chavez said this was the best car he's ever driven. I guarantee you right now, Sage's is quicker. At this track, this fast, to be following that close, there's no doubt Karam's being held back.
And these Star Mazda machines, a key part of the Mazda Road to Indy. They've got to be a lot of fun to drive here at Road Atlanta.
If I'm honest with you, and I might get in trouble for saying this, my most fun year of on-track wheel-to-wheel racing was 2005 in the Star Mazda Series. These cars are so well balanced between mechanical grip and aero grip. It's just a lot of fun.
Sage Karam grabs the gear. Meantime, before we got going today, Todd had an opportunity to talk to his teammate Zach Veach about the kind of year he has put together.
Yeah, well, I mean, this being my rookie year in Star Mazda and basically my third year ever in an open wheel car, it was definitely a learning experience for us. Like you said, we had some really good moments, we had some tough moments, but it's all kind of put me where I am today. And, you know, coming from an Indy Lights test where we set the track record at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, everything I learned today or this year has brought me to be able to do that a few weeks ago. So.
And he's running third here very competitively. And as he said, only his third year in car racing. I mean, that's tremendous. He's a very young driver. The talent is clearly there.
But the way Star Mazda is constructed, one of the key parts of the Mazda Road to Indy, really it should be a 3-year program for most young drivers.
Yeah, at least, you know. And one of the big things is you see a lot in racing is drivers, they have this urgency. They feel this urgent need to move up, and sometimes it's better to take that second year at a certain level. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing 2 years. It's the what Spencer Pigot tried to do in F2000. It's what Connor DeFilippi's done in Star Mazda, and there's nothing wrong with that philosophy. A lot of times it serves you very well later down the road.
Battle for the lead up front. Couple of young drivers with great futures in front of them on the Mazda Road to Indy. Gabi Chavez is your leader. Sage Karam in second spot on the Comfort Solutions machine. The gap's been about 3 or 4 car lengths, and here comes Zach Beach. He's another 15 or so car lengths back.
Yeah, it looks like Gabby's almost doubled the gap from 2 cars to 4 car lengths. It was very tight there for a minute, but yeah, no, Zach's holding on there. Because these guys are obviously running a blistering pace, but Zach is not getting left behind.
Now that Jack Hawksworth is not able to compete this weekend, that opens the door for a new winner in the Star Mazda Championship. Certainly a good thing. And one of the things that can come along in this, of course, is a young driver can maybe overdrive just a little bit. Not sure if we're seeing that today. Let's go downstairs and check in with Todd.
Just a quick update on the 81 of Petri Savanto from Team Pelfrey. Had a terrific start, looked like he might be off to a good run today, but has fallen back a number of positions. He's been very quiet on the radio, hasn't reported a specific problem to the team, just fallen back trying to handle that car, now battling with his teammate.
Yeah, there must be something that's got Petri a little bit upset in the car with the handling, the balance. He was 3rd on lap 1. He's down to 8th place now, battling with one of his teammates. So something going wrong there. And some drivers, when things aren't great, they'll stay quiet on the radio. They just want to get on, with the job that they're trying to do. It takes a lot of focus to handle, to manhandle, I should say, an ill-handling race car.
He and Menezes fighting for position 1. Pedrahita right back there as well in the 9 car. He's fallen back to 9th position. Is this one of those cases where Chavez and Sage Karam are just putting up such a great run that you can't keep pace with them?
I think that could very well be the case. I mean, right now with Hawksworth out, these 2 guys are the class of the field at the minute. They obviously both have good race cars underneath them. That's going to lead to this kind of gap.
And one of the other storylines, I think, today, James Hinchcliffe, is you've gone from a street circuit. It's wheel banging there between the 15 of Polly and the 2 of Connor DeFilippi.
It got very close there, and Polly actually holds the outside line. That was great stuff. He had the better line. He had more rubber to break, but Connor had the preferred angle there on the inside, but couldn't make it happen, and it's tough to
These guys are teammates. What a sense of urgency Connor DeFilippi has shown.
Into turn 1, this is a risky move, but he commits to it. That's the big thing about a pass in turn 1 is you have to be absolutely sure you're going through. Big commitment from Connor. Great pass.
Man, I'll tell you, Connor DeFilippi knowing he's got to get going here and put a good result up on the board today at Road Atlanta. So wild stuff in the Star Mazda Championship. There's more to come on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. We are back at Road Atlanta on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Coverage of the Star Mazda Championship season finale here in 2012 alongside IndyCar star James Hinchcliffe. I'm Rick Benjamin. Todd Lewis with our coverage today down on pit road. So far, it's been all Gabi Chavez. Sage Karam has tried to stay with him. We're watching Connor DeFilippi in the 2 car, who's won here previously for Juncos Racing, trying to get up and get himself in position perhaps to capitalize on a mistake by one of the front runners.
Yeah, we cannot discredit the drive that's happening right now in the 2 car because he started 9th after a problem in qualifying, but he's done a great job to get himself up to 4th, trying to close that gap.
Connor DeFilippi, one of many young drivers hoping to continue to climb the Mazda Road to Indy ladder. Now, Mazda and the Speedway giving several of these drivers a chance to live out a dream and drive at Indy recently. Drivers from up and down the Mazda ladder system hoping to prove themselves on the world's most famous racetrack. A couple of days of testing for Star and F2000 drivers hoping to take one more step.
I was here a few months ago in May in the Indy 500, and just seeing all the people here, you don't really understand how immense, this place is until you actually come here and experience it. And, just being here to watch the race was an honor, let alone being able to actually race a car around here. It's a huge honor.
Jacob, one of several young drivers getting their first seat time in USF 2000 machines as they look ahead to 2013. Meantime, some of this year's USF 2000 stars got opportunities to try Star Mazda equipment for the first time looking to next year.
Yeah, very first laps in the Star Mazda, it was great. It's quite a lot different than the USF 2000 car, but it's a lot of fun. It's still just another race car, so I just had to get used to a few of the differences. Just the amount of grip it has, the amount of downforce, how late you can brake. We're going a lot faster and we're braking even later than I'm used to in the USF 2000 car. So just getting my head around that and everything is going to take some time to get used to, but so far so good.
To win the championship and get the funding to move up just helps so much, and to keep, if you can keep winning, you can keep moving up. So it's hard in the other series, and there's a lot of things in Europe where your talent is up there, but you just can't move up because you just don't have the funding. The program's just awesome.
So if you want to find out more about going racing with Mazda in 2013, the website is MazdaMotorsports.com.
And it was so good to hear from some of the F2000 hopefuls that are, going to hopefully be in the Star Mazda series next year. And it's we've said it so many times over the year, Rick, and we just cannot underline this enough, how great this program really is and how much Mazda really is helping develop the talent of these young drivers.
Young Scott Anderson, one of those, making his first Star Mazda attempt here at Road Atlanta in the final weekend of 2012 in that 16 car. Certainly planning on a full season run come next year. These last races of a season oftentimes do give you a leg up on the coming year.
It is a huge benefit for a driver to come in at the end of the year, get one, maybe two races under your belt. It just gives you so much more of knowledge, I guess, of what to expect heading into a new season and a new championship. So a very good move from some of these drivers making their debuts this weekend.
13 laps on the board. Still Gabi Chavez on top of Sage Karam, Zach Veach, Connor DeFilippi, and Bruno Pali, the top five. Yeah, we heard from Matthew Brabham and from Spencer Pigot a few moments ago. Saw those young drivers at the Speedway testing a Star Mazda car. Brabham already set to go. He's got the money, the funding to go do this next year. Spencer Pigot fully intending to run for the Star Mazda Championship next season. The step up from F2000 to Star Mazda is a big one, though, and it'll be a lot of those drivers. We'll ask a lot of those drivers to be able to be competitive. Ashley Freiberg has fallen a couple of spots back in the 91 car. Don't want him, in trouble. Zach Veach going around, coming up onto the backstretch.
Out of a podium position, it's the last thing Zach wanted in the last race of the season, running competitively. He's fallen down now. That's only 2 spots. The gap he had was quite big, so he's fallen down to, I guess, 5th position now.
Let's take another look here. We have a replay for you as he spins the 77 car onto the dirt.
All on his own there. It's tough to see exactly what happened. Maybe we can get another look at it, another angle. But just looks like he locked up the rears on entry and the brakes.
Replay XD onboard camera here. Oh, he got up on the rumble strip.
Got up on the curb, yeah. No, it's easy to do. The car, the tires are very hot from that previous corner. It's very banked. You put a lot of load through them. And getting up on the rumble strip on the brakes, there's too much going on, and unfortunately it snapped on him.
Part of the learning curve, of course, learning a new racetrack, as Zach still has some problems with that car.
Yeah, you saw a couple big wiggles in the middle of the S's there. Maybe there actually is something seriously wrong with that car, more of a problem than we thought.
So Zach Veach trying to collect himself in the K12 machine as he heads back to where he spun just a moment ago. You get up on the curbing at some places, you can do that. You've got to use the car. He's off again here.
Yeah, there actually must be something either bent or loosening on that car, because it's bizarre to see that many consistent problems that close together.
Up the backstretch one more time. Zach Veach will try to close in, pick up a couple of spots. Bruno Pali in the 15. Diego Menez is there in the 57. A couple of drivers who have been able to get by Zach Veach and knock him out of a top 3 spot.
And this moves Connor DeFilippi from 9th on the grid up into a podium position potentially.
He is driving like a young man on fire. Let's check out the top 5 as we head to break. Back at Road Atlanta on the Mazda Motorsports Hour, watching the car that won this season's Star Mazda Championship. Young Ryan Taviter driving the 82. Meantime, the driver who claimed the title, Jack Hawksworth. We caught up with him earlier as he talked about his opportunities for next year.
Really excited to make the next step on the road to Indy. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to getting into a lights car testing. Hopefully that'll happen soon, and we can get something signed off before hopefully before December, and start preparing for next year. But yeah, it's really exciting, especially I was speaking to my manager after Lagoon after we'd won the championship. Already like a week later, I was like, to my old man as well, flipping hell, 5-6 months till St. Pete's. We want it to come around a bit quicker so we can back to work again. But it's going to be a fun few weeks to see how it all plays out, and yeah, I guess same as last year, head down, get prepared, and see how we do.
Yeah, luckily for him, and unlike the IndyCar series, unfortunately, there's pretty open testing rules in Indy Lights. So while there is a big gap there between races, I imagine he'll get a deal signed and sealed pretty soon, and he'll be hitting the track and have a lot of miles under his belt by the time St. Pete comes around.
Captain Jack wanted to run this final race, try to cap off his championship year with another victory here, but in this time of resources where you've got to kind of conserve them financially, I think it made a lot of sense for him to make that decision.
Yeah, it really does. And, I guarantee you that wasn't his decision, but the people making the decisions for him, they definitely made the right call here. There's a risk of, if you crash the race car, that's more damage. Never mind just running it. There's a chance you could hurt yourself. Let's be honest. This is still a dangerous sport, no matter what level you're at. So for what he's done already this season and what he's looking to do next year, yeah, there was no need to be in the car, but I guarantee you there was a want.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, though, to see Jack Hawksworth progress into Indy Lights. Next step up on the Mazda road to Indy, headed to IndyCar, he hopes, in a couple of years. No change among the top two. Let's take you a little further back in the field. You've got Ashley Freiberg trying to gain some ground here. She heads out of turn number 1.
She's picked up a couple spots from her qualifying position, and again, this is the kind of learning that she needs. She needs the wheel-to-wheel, she needs the racecraft, and so being in a train of 3 cars right now, doesn't matter where in the grid it is almost, just having this experience is very good for her.
Camilo Schmidt next in line behind Ashley Freiberg in the True Car machine. I'm impressed with Scott Anderson in the 16. Now, he has done some running in one of these Star Mazda cars, but he's making his first series start. Meantime, Chavez wearing him out up front.
He really is, Rick. He's laying down some blistering lap times and finally now has a little bit of breathing room over second place man Sage Karam. It's probably up to about 10, 12 car lengths, and that's the biggest gap we've seen all race.
And part of the learning curve, I think, for a young driver is knowing when you just don't have as good a car as the guy you're chasing.
I remember the day that I learned that lesson. I had a 3rd place car and I tried to win with it, and I put myself in the gravel trap. A couple races later in the exact same situation, brought it home 3rd, and that felt a lot better. So that is a very big part of it as you see the leader deal with some lap traffic down now into the S's.
Masters contender Walt Boland, the Tampa Bay jaw surgery entry on the outside there as Chavez blows on by him. Meantime, in the S's, it is the 88 car of Sage Karam still in second spot. Look at the gap all the way back to Connor DeFilippi here, who's running 3rd.
Yeah, that passing of the lap car let Sage close the gap again, and unfortunately the gap's still huge for Connor DeFilippi in 3rd, but that's, trust me, through no fault of his own. He had to start back in 9th. He hasn't had a safety car period to close that gap. I would love to see one for his sake because he's doing such a good job. It'd be great to see him mix it up with the top 2.
Just about past halfway here at Road Atlanta. Yeah, Connor DeFilippi would benefit greatly from a full course caution. We haven't even come close to that today.
No, we really haven't. It's been a lot of good, clean racing from these guys, a couple small instances, but everybody's been able to get themselves back on track.
Connor DeFilippi, a young driver who's got a choice to make here fairly soon. This season coming to a close. It has not been the year he wanted. He's got a couple of wins. Been on the podium, I think, 9 or 10 times this year, but he hasn't contended for the championship. Does he come back and run this one more time, or does he try to take another step up the Mazda road to Indy? Meantime, the battle for 4th. Polly in the 15's been impressive. Ferreira right behind him, and there is Zach Veach in the 77.
Yeah, Zach Veach clearly dealing with whatever problems he had earlier on. He's holding on to the Team Visa Venezuela cars and looking for a way by. We know he's quick. He was running 3rd earlier, so it'll be interesting to see if he can try and make some progress there.
Down onto the front straightaway, out of turn number 12, under the bridge here, and heading off toward turn 1. These drivers finding their way around a very fast place here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, and this is a big train of cars for this racetrack. Again, the fast-flowing nature. These cars, they're not super aero-dependent, but in a track quite this fast, you are going to get some dirty air. It's going to be tough to follow, guys. So a little bit of a train formula. We need somebody to do something and mix it up a little bit.
Replay XD onboard look here. Diego Ferreira's Team Viso machine. Of course, EJ Viso from the IndyCar Series, helping some of the young drivers from his homeland.
And it's a great thing that he's doing. He's got 2 very talented young drivers here that he's able to help out. And again, just trying to help along that ladder system and try and get them to move up the ladder.
Scott Anderson leading Ashley Freiberg, and the battle for 11th spot. Anderson taking his first run in a Star Mazda Championship Series race. Our Mazda Momentum featured today. We talked to young Scott Anderson about one of the changes he had to get accustomed to before climbing in this race car.
As racers move up the Mazda driver development ladder on the road to Indy, they're faced with new challenges when they get in a new car. After a successful USF 2000 season, Scott Anderson is about to make his first Star Mazda Championship race. Here at Road Atlanta, Scott, you've got a new shifting pattern to get used to. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the difference between the USF 2000 car and the Star Mazda car in terms of shifting is the USF 2000 car is an H pattern, and it's not sequential. So that means you have to lift for each upshift and kind of time it right. In the Star Mazda car, you don't have to lift. It's just you just keep your foot flat on the gas, and it cuts for you. So, and it's just forward and backward. So really, I mean, in every way, the Star Mazda car is a bit easier.
A little bit easier, but maybe some more gears to get used to. We'll see how Scott handles it in his first race today.
Yeah, they're going from 4 gears to 6 gears, and like you said, sequential from an H pattern. Whoa, big tire lockup. A lot of battling going on with the teammates here.
Gustavo Menez is in the 83 for Team Pelfrey, and the 81 car of Suvanto. They've been swapping positions. They almost took both each other out there.
They almost each took themselves out, actually. I don't think either one was in too much risk of taking the other one out, but ooh, pretty aggressive defensive move there from Menezes.
Change that view down into 1 here as they're side by side?
Now they're trying, and Menezes maybe thinking about the comeback. Now can't quite do it there over that blind crest. Again, pass into turn one, that's commitment. Well played on Savanto's part.
Up through the S's here, late in the race at Road Atlanta. Dale Pelfrey might want to have a word with his two young drivers. You want guys to learn how to be fast and aggressive. Rule number one, though, in the racer's rule book, don't take a teammate out.
Rule number two, don't date your teammate's sister. But it's,
trouble.
More action in turn one.
Wow, this has been a corner that has caused problems for a lot of contenders here today. Let's see if we can figure out who did what to who, as we are not yet under full course yellow. We're certainly under a local caution at this point. Up the backstretch, Connor DeFilippi trying to take advantage here.
Putting a lap down on Walt Bowman, it looks like they're finally caught up with the lap traffic, and that's the 5300. Mendez, again, managed to stay off the wall, which is the key part here, and I think we can avoid a full course caution.
Mendez there in the 53, Camilo Schmidt in the 21, nearly coming together. They both lose it at the exit of one. Mendez way off in the grass. Let's get a Replay XD onboard look as Mendez tries to make the pass.
Tries to make the pass, yeah, just gets offline in too deep, back end steps around, and I mean, Schmidt really had nowhere to go there.
That could have been a bad moment for both of those drivers. Mendez back on the course, just perhaps pushing a little too hard, hanging a wheel up on that rumble strip on the outside of the racetrack. A lot of fans come to Road Atlanta for Petit Le Mans Week. They're enjoying the Star Mazda Championship. Welcome back to the Mazda Motorsports Hour. We're at Road Atlanta covering the Star Mazda Championship season finale here in 2012. Alongside James Hinchcliffe, I'm Rick Benjamin. 29 laps are on the board. We've got time for maybe 6 or 7 more here today before we wrap things up. Todd Lewis with our coverage down on pit road. It has been a great day for young Gabi Chavez.
It really has. Started from the pole, clean getaway, and he has led every single lap, despite at times immense pressure from number 2 man Sage Karam.
A little further back in the field, still got Scott Anderson, Ashley Freiberg dueling for 11th spot. Freiberg trying to use the draft here perhaps to make a move.
And this has been a good battle all race long. Neither one of these drivers have let up. Scott Anderson we spoke to, we know he's making his Star Mazda debut. And here we go, Freiberg looking for that big commitment pass into one. Yeah, just can't do it. Sometimes that's what happens. You got to back out of it because we saw what can happen when a pass there goes wrong.
In a development series like Star Mazda, part of the Mazda Road to Indy, one thing you've got to learn as a young driver certainly is how far you can push these cars.
Absolutely, and that was a smart heads-up move, I think, from Freiberg. She wasn't quite far enough alongside. Anderson really drove it in deep on the outside, so that was the right play for sure.
Having to brake early, though, cost her a lot of momentum. You talked about this being a momentum racetrack. It may take Ashley Freiberg a while to catch back up to Anderson.
It could take a couple laps. They've sort of been a little bit of ebb and flow. That gap's been widening a little bit, shrinking back down, so she's got to try and get that back down and just time it, maybe wait for a mistake from Anderson, which he hasn't really made many of yet. He's been doing a very good job on his debut here.
Leaders in the S's heading toward the backstretch. Here's the gap back to the third place runner, Connor DeFilippi, a long one, as he is just now getting into the S's.
And this is, again, I really got to commend the drive that he's put in here today. It's been absolutely stellar with no safety cars to help him. He sliced his way through the field. And again, like we said, the championship's wrapped up, but 2nd through 5th is tight and every point counts. So very, very heads-up drive from him, the kind of way he wants to end the season.
Further gap back from 3rd back to 4th position. The two Team Viso drivers. There's Bruno Pali in the 15 trying to chase down his teammate in the 57, Diego Ferreira. And you go back a little further, a couple of the Team Pelfrey mates. Suvanto in the 81 seems to have the upper hand among that group right now.
Yeah, Suvanto started on the 2nd row, got into 3rd place right off the start, but he had that sort of drop back in the first third of the race. He's got good pace now, but unfortunately the track position just isn't there.
Petri Suvanto taking an important step up the Mazda Road to Indy ladder, coming from USF 2000, where he won the championship, to Star Mazda this year, and he'll probably need another year in Star Mazda. At Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago, some young Star Mazda drivers got their feet wet in Indy Lights machines as they hope to move up soon.
I started in USF 2000 and 2010 with Andretti, rookie, never drove a car before. And 3 years later, well, 2 years really, I find myself driving an Indy Lights car at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So it just taught me everything I needed to get here, and I'll never be able to thank everybody at Mazda enough for this.
Well, I did almost all the road to Indy. I started in the USF 2000, I moved up to Star Mazda, and now I hope I can move up on the Indy Lights. So it means everything because it's a really good step to grow up like a driver and like a person too. So it's great.
Who wouldn't dream of coming here to Indy and getting some laps down? And to do that for my first time in an Indy Lights car, I'm so happy I have the opportunity to do this test. And we're right on pace, so we should be good to go and hopefully get some really good results that can motivate our sponsors and help us move up to the next level.
It's been tremendous. I mean, I think USF 2000's had the biggest growth We've gone from, I guess last year, averaging 14 cars up to about 28, 29 cars this year. So it's been an exciting year for us. Star Mazda, we hope to see a little more growth next year, same with Indy Lights. So we're hopeful that we'll see the growth continue as you climb up the ladder as the years continue.
Climbing that Mazda Road to Indy ladder. That was part of the attempt that all these drivers got a chance to make at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A 2-day test, second year they've done it, very successful. I really enjoyed my time there talking to these drivers, team owners, everybody with their eye on young talent from the Mazda Road to Indy.
Yeah, it's a Chris Griffiths Memorial Test there, and I'll tell you, a couple of things stood out from that for me. One, the chance for these young drivers to get to drive around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, very special thing, tough to put into words. Two, Scuncio really nailed it. Not only are you developing as a driver, each step up to a new series, you really develop as a person, and that's a really important part of it, and I think he really nailed that on the head. And when you look at the number of drivers currently in Star Mazda looking up to Indy Lights, I am very excited about the Indy Lights season next year. I think we're going to see a big boom, a lot more cars, and a lot of action.
Bruno Pali in the 15, Team Viso. EJ Viso was there during that test session. One of the things I took away from that, James, of course, they used the road course that MotoGP uses, that Formula One used to use. These cars don't look out of place at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I could see them racing there in the years to come.
It's been talked about, absolutely. It'd be a very cool thing to have happen, and anything that happens at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is very special.
When you walk through, when you walk under the pagoda there, you walk under some of the signage there, and you look up and you realize where you're standing. It's hallowed ground in our sport.
It's one of those things. Every time I drive through the tunnel between 1 and 2, and I look over to my left and see turn 1, it still gets me every single time. There could be nothing going on, not a person on the property, but there is something about that place. It just speaks to you.
Lead battle continuing to rage. Chavez has been out in front all the way. Sage Karam in second spot. He's closed that gap back up a little bit. Can Gabi Chavez close the deal? Just enough time for a couple more laps here at Road Atlanta.
We've seen him deal with pressure before, and he's done a great job so far today. Sage was definitely quicker at the beginning part of the race, but he held him off, and now he's got a very comfortable gap, just controlling the pace from the front.
James, you spent some time in Star Mazda a few years ago. Cars were essentially the same. Is the draft a big deal at a high-speed place like this?
Again, a lot of it's how you set up the downforce. We talked about it at the beginning in the Mazda keys to the race. If you trim down that long straightaway, you can get a massive run on guys. You're going to suffer through the S's and through some of the quicker corners like turn 1, and it's all that compromise on the setup. So obviously starting up front, these guys probably both would have gone with a similar higher downforce level, and the draft's a little bit smaller at that point, but you can still get a good toe.
Replay XD onboard view from Sage Karam's vantage point. Of course, in Star Mazda, it's a 50-minute race today here at Road Atlanta. No pit stops unless you have a problem. No reason, no ability to change the trim on your car.
No, exactly right. And, you're stuck with the tire pressures you got, the wing angles, as you said. So it really puts it in the driver's hands at this point. And, one of the things that I like about Gabi's drive is he's got the pressure, but we haven't seen him make mistakes. He's not tried to push too hard and open that gap up a ton. One of the, I think it was Jackie Stewart said, the best distance to win a race by is 1/10 of a second, because that means you drove just as hard as you needed to. You didn't overuse tires, didn't overuse equipment. You don't need to win a race by 20 seconds. You only need to win the race.
Sage Karam, meantime, throwing everything at this, trying to score a come-from-behind victory using all the road. You could see him a couple of corners ago, left, right, all over the curbing, trying to gain some ground and put some heat on Chavez here.
Yeah, he's one of the most aggressive drivers in the series. We've seen him pull off some phenomenal overtaking maneuvers as the season progressed, I should say. And there's no doubt that despite the fact he didn't come out with the championship this year, Sage is a kid that's ready to move up. He's got the experience now. He's definitely got the talent. He's going to be an exciting guy to watch in the future.
Very tough series to win races in. White flag is in the air over Gabi Chavez. One more trip around this 2.5-mile, 12-turn road course here in Brazelton, Georgia.
He's done it 35 times flawlessly. Only one more to close out the season with 2 victories as the back-to-back winner. That would be a great way to end the season. It would lock him into second in the championship, and just a phenomenal end of the season.
One of the things I've enjoyed most about this year, getting to meet and know Gabi Chavez, Zach Veach, Sage Karam, of course, Jack Hawksworth, and their families in a lot of cases. Gabi Chavez is blessed, I think, with a family that's very supportive of what he wants to do with his life.
I think every single one of the drivers on this grid is blessed with a supportive family. You couldn't get to this point without it. Oh, he's getting close now, though. Sage Karam is close within 2 car lengths. This might not be over yet. Oh, no!
Oh, he locks up the bro!
Oh, no! He goes around!
On the white flag lap, Sage Karam trying extra hard into the final corner, has to do a burnout to try to hold on to second spot.
Essentially did the exact same thing his teammate Zach Veach did earlier, got up onto the rumble strips on entry, lost the back end, but the gap was so big.
Oh!
There you go, spins it back around, nice smoky burnout.
just like he was on dirt there. Not what you want to be.
That's not the end he wanted, but man, he was going for broke. He did not give up, and he knew he had the gap behind him. If he made a little mistake, he's still going to hold on to second place, but it's this man who's going to come home the winner.
Gabby Chavez headed to the checkered flag. One of the best things you can see as a driver, to look up in the mirror and see the guy pressuring you off in the weeds somewhere. Gabby Chavez leads flag to flag today at Road Atlanta.
What a close-off to the season for this young driver. He's so well-mannered, so experienced now. This kid's got a bright future for sure.
Gabby Chavez won at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca earlier. He caps the season with a victory at Road Atlanta.
Gabby Chavez gets the helmet off, the smile on his face. That was about as perfect a race driven as we've seen this year in the Star Mazda Championship. Didn't seem like anything went wrong for you today.
Well, it was just, a lot of pressure from Sage, but really I'm just trying to keep my head straight and, focus on, the task at hand and just getting clean laps, getting around the traffic as cleanly as possible and just staying up front. And it worked out perfectly, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy for myself and for the team, and what an amazing end to the season.
What kind of momentum and boost does this give you personally going into 2013?
Well, this is great. I mean, not only for myself, I get a good boost emotionally, and everything just keeps on working out, and you just kind of pick up this pace and momentum, and it just kind of carries on to the next event, as well. Getting the results for my sponsors and my country, it's an amazing feeling, and I'm so happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gabby Chavez, your winner at Road Atlanta.
So Gabby Chavez closes out the 2012 Star Mazda season with a victory over Sage Karam and Connor DeFilippi from 9th to 3rd at the checkered flag. Ferreira and Bruno Pauli, the rest of the top 5. Then it's Suvanto and Gustavo Menezes, the 2 teammates from Pelfrey. Zach Veach falls to 8th. Pedro Hita and Zach Meyer, the rest of the top 10. Ashley Freiberg holds on to 11th, ahead of Anderson and Acosta. All right, let's get the thoughts of our second-place finisher today here at Road Atlanta.
Sage Karam with a second-place result. Solid race. I know you'd like one spot better, but a pretty solid race for you and the team.
It was real solid. We did what we needed to do, and to get 3rd in the championship, and we ended up 3rd in the championship. So, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be saying I'm 3rd in the Star Mazda Championship with the competitive field it was this year. And me and Gabby just had an awesome race there. I didn't let him breathe, so he had a really good car through turns 6 to 12, and I was good from 1 to 6. So it's our cars were just equal. I just couldn't get close enough.
Great race to end the season.
Thank you.
Sage Karam comes home in 2nd spot and ends up 3rd overall in the championship on the basis of more victories than Connor DeFilippi. DeFilippi tied with Sage with 325 points. Karam wins on the tiebreaker. Connor DeFilippi, though, takes 3rd home today.
Connor DeFilippi, did you think that you'd be on the podium after the end of qualifying in that crash you had yesterday? A great bounce back.
No, it was great. I mean, I certainly knew I'd be able to. The car was certainly good enough for a podium. It was a shame that we weren't able to challenge for the win. They kind of got away there in the beginning, but the Junko guys, worked their tail off last night, and we're here late, and the least I could do was drive to the podium. So I can't thank them enough for all their hard work, and my partner ModSpace this year, backing me this whole season has been phenomenal. And who knows what's in the books for next year, but I can't thank everyone enough that's supported me this season.
Nice end of the year. Well done.
Thank you.
So Connor DeFilippi celebrates a 3rd-place run in the season finale. It's been a great year, James Hinchcliffe. Thanks for all you've contributed to our efforts.
It's been a lot of fun being here, watching these young drivers develop, and like I said, I think the future of open wheel racing in this country is just doing fine. Can't wait to see how it goes.
Hope you've enjoyed our coverage this season on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. We thank Todd Lewis for his fine work on pit road. I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner, Gabby Chavez. Thanks for watching the Mazda Motorsports Hour.